Well, slowly but surely, we're starting to get some of the stuff put away. All this stuff needs to go into storage. These need to get put away. Tools got to get put away. Motorcycle lift is getting moved. Welding table is covered with crap right now. We still have to put the tin on this wall, the sheet metal. Got one of my hammer racks over here and starting to put some hammers away. This is all, pretty much all this is spots that I had hammers and stuff, but this video is for NZ Mopar, and he was asking some of the designs that were my favorite as far as body hammers. And this is a snap-on hammer that, you know, of course you can buy it from Snap-on, but a lot of the hammers, and I'll show you some of them that I've made. A lot of the hammers I've either modified or made or whatever. But these are some of my hammers right here. And I think here, yeah, here's some old hammer handles, and then this is underneath here. These are old hammer heads that I have in my collection. And what I do is I take these and fix them up and change them and mod them the way I want, so they work the way I want, and then put new handles on them. Here's some of my handles, or hammers. I'm getting ready to put these away. These are some of the ones that I've made, and this was an old rivet, like a truck rivet or ship rivet or something like that. And then this here was just a piece of metal that I found. It was just in my dolly drawer. It was like a shape that I liked. But I really like this shape right here. If you're going to be making hammers, this is something that's so useful, because you can kind of, you know, if you have a, for instance, if you have a shape like this right here, where you got like a 90-degree, well, you can really get into that shape like that and hammer and dolly and, you know, move some metal around the way you need. So that's a real handy shape. And then of course with this rivet on the other end, that's a super handy shape too, because you can use that to kind of, you know, stretch the metal or whatever. And that's why I did this one here. I made this hammer also. It's one of my body hammers that I made a long time ago. And this is just a big ball bearing welded to, these right here were lawnmower wrist pins out of a piston. And you know, you could use like a grade 8 bolt or something like that. And then this was just a slug that I had, and welded that sucker up and put it on there. And this is actually one of my favorite hammers. I use it all the time. And then this is another shape, same thing, you know, you can see which direction this one goes, but this one is another one of my favorite shapes. Their direction is the opposite, and it goes for the same thing. You can come in from the side and get real tight into tight spaces like this, you know, when you're hammering on something. And I made this hammer out of a welding hammer, and then this was just like a knurled slug that I made. And I made it for another tool. I forget what the heck I was using it for. And I shortened it down and then just made a hammer out of it. And it's actually one of my most used hammers. I love it. This one works really good. And it seems like the ones that you make, the hammers that you make, you use them more because they're, you know, for specialty stuff. Here's another hammer that I made. This was an old Harbor Freight hammer that I cut off a long time ago. And I added this piece here because this is one of them shapes I'm talking about where you can, you know, get into tight corners. So it's super handy. This hammer here I bought this piece at a antique shop, and this was gone from here over, so I added this piece. And this is absolutely one of my most favorite hammers. This thing's amazing. I just like the way, I gotta polish it up again, but it gets used all the time, and it has a real soft pick end on it. You see it's getting rusty. Everything's been in storage, so in storage everything started to rust real bad, which kind of sucks, but oh well. We'll get them put back to use them. Those are really handy, and let me see here. Sorry about the noise. Kind of flipping through here though. Of course, NZ Mopar, Glenn, he already made one of these, this style, a real short one, which is super handy. You know, when you got to get into somewhere where, you know, like if you have a limited space where it's only from here to here, and I'm just using that as an example, you know, you only have that much swinging leverage or whatever, so it's super handy if you have a short hammer like that. These are just all ball peen hammers and whatever. And one of my other favorites is this hammer here. This is a door skin hammer, and you can see the shape of it. But what I did is I took one of the Harbor Freight hammers, and I was using it one day, and I had another one just like it. This is a Willebrand hammer, and you can see what I did. I cut the end down off of it. And these are actually identical hammers, but you can see how short the one on the left is compared to the one on the right. But it's got that same angle on it. It's kind of like a duckbill almost or something, you know? And that's super handy. I only cut the one side down because the flat side, it gets used a lot. A lot of my hammers are still not here. I don't see them now, but I have hundreds and hundreds of hammers. So this is one I bought a while back from Snap-on. Really awesome because it's a little shorty hammer. Really like that one. So Glenn from NZ Mopar, the reason I'm making this video for him, he's making some hammers, and he was asking what the best shapes in body hammers were. So I figured I'd show him some of this stuff and show him my favorite shapes and, you know, my favorite hammers that I like to use. This is another one of my old hammers that's one of my favorites, and this has a round end on it here, and then here is squared. And the reason for that is same kind of thing. You know, you could use a round hammer in here, but you can see getting a round hammer up to that corner, it's not going to work. So what you can do is just take that squared off hammer and you can get right into those corners. Hopefully you can see that. So when you're hammering, you can get that edge right up against that metal when you're doing a flange or something like that. And it really helps. And now all my hammers, almost every single one of them I've modded. Hey, get out of there. What are you doing, dummy? No. Sorry about that. My dog's trying to eat boards and stuff on the wall. She's a knucklehead. This hammer here, when I first got it, it was super sharp. Let's see if I can get that to focus. It was super sharp right here. And I end up putting them on a grinder or cutting them off and rounding them over so that they have like a nice, excuse me, so they have a nice blunt end like this one. And this is a pick hammer that, you know, comes in really handy when you're trying to pick on something and knock small dents or, you know, high spots down. And it doesn't look like it in the camera. I'm checking this out, but this is not flat. It has a really subtle radius to it. Kind of can't even pick that up. But the flat hammers, they'll end up leaving like moon-shaped marks in the metal. So you can kind of see that radius there. It's very subtle. And you don't want them to be super flat because, you know, when that hammer comes down, it's gonna leave a mark like this. You can see that, you know, it comes down like that. It's gonna leave a mark in the metal. Well, if it comes down where it's kind of rounded, you have that shape like this. Well, it's gonna hit where it moves the metal, but at the same time, it's not catching that end right here, or that front part or the back part, and leaving a mark on the metal. One of the other things too is if you're gonna be doing metal shaping and stuff, and you can see none of my hammers right now are polished, so I'm kind of embarrassed about that. I'm kind of missing some of my hammers, but like I said, a lot of them are in storage right now, so I'm trying to figure out where most of these are. But you want to have them really high polished on the ends. Like this one, you can kind of see it's almost a mirror finish. Let me wipe it off. And you can see it's really shiny, and I put a mirror finish on most of my hammers all the time. And sometimes, like in the winter, I'll sand them really good and then put them on the belt sander and sand them some more and get them really high polished until they're, so that they don't leave marks on the metal. And then like this was a cheap Harbor Freight hammer, and I put a Snap-on handle on it. Yeah, I know. All the Snap-on guys are gonna be bitching about that, but don't care. It's a nice hammer, it's one of my favorites, it works awesome, that's all I care about. But you can see that I reshape all the hammer heads, and like this one's got a really big radius on it. And then this one was polished, but they've been beat up, so most of these need to be polished again. This is another one that's really nice. I got this a while back from Snap-on. I haven't used it much, but when I've used it, I really liked it. It's got a really weird shape to it. And this side here, you can kind of, as you're swinging it, comes down and hits perfectly. And on this one, it's more about moving metal because of the shape of it, you know, the size. This one, absolutely one of my favorite hammers, but I use this a lot on the beater bag and on the shrinking stump. And when you're using it on a shrinking stump, it's, you know, it moves metal really quick because it's got a lot of heft to it. It's a heavy hammer, so it feels really nice in the hand. Like I said, I'm missing a lot of my hammers because they're all in storage all over the place. But anyways, I hope that helped you, Glenn, NZ Mopar. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, go check him out. NZ Mopar, it stands for New Zealand Mopar. And I'm doing this video for him because he was asking some questions about hammers, some of the ones that I made. And it seems like the ones that I've made are always my favorite hammers, so they kind of get used most. Like I was saying, like this guy right here is awesome. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Glenn, thanks a lot for watching. Keep making those hammers. Really cool to see those. And it's cool to have somebody from New Zealand, you know, watching your videos and commenting and leaving nice comments and all that good stuff. So, and the guy does some awesome work. So go check out his channel, and he's doing a car, kind of like the two Plymouth Furies that we're building in the shop. But he's doing a really nice job on it, and his metalwork is turning out super nice. And he's been making hammers, and you know, I'm shooting back and forth with him some comments so that he can get some ideas to make some more hammers. Anyways, I'm gonna get off this camera. Thanks for watching. Go support his channel. Later.